Hello ladies and gentlemen, long time no see, but I'm back, and in Farming Simulator, a game that's a little bit different to anything I've featured on the channel before. And for this first series of Farm Sim, we're going to look at one of the default maps that comes with Farming Simulator 19, the current version, before the new updated version, Farm Sim 22, arrives in the fourth quarter of this year. So we're here on the Ravenport map at the default starter farm, the tutorial farm, where everything begins, and I'm playing without any mods at all, playing just purely in the base game version, and we're going to have a very short series looking at the basic features of the game before we move on to another map with extra equipment that's not included in the basic game. So this series is very much a starter series for people who've never played the game before and are wondering what it's all about and why it is that I've put nearly 2,000 hours into this game over the last year. And I do love this game. It's great. It's fantastic. There's lots of things to do, and it is a great way to fill your time during lockdown. So let's have a quick look at our farm and decide what we're going to do. As I said, this is the starter game. This is the starter farm, sorry, that the game sets you up with as your first introduction to Farming Simulator. And it's an American farm. It's got the flag up there. So one of the first things that you want to do is to check your money. And if you can see at the top right of screen there, although I've set the currency to pounds, it doesn't matter. The number would be the same whether it was euros or dollars or Hong Kong yen or whatever. Right, we're starting with £100,000. We've got some buildings, we've got some equipment, and we've got some land. Let's have a look at what we actually do have. If we press escape, it brings up this map, shows you the whole area that you're playing on, and we are down here in the bottom right of the map. As you can see, it's quite a large map, a lot larger than most people realize when they play this game, or when they play on this map I should say. And if I click on lands, it shows you what we already own. See, we do own quite a bit of land, but we only own 4 small fields and the farm itself. Now, if I just come out, there are a few things to be aware of on this starter farm, and that includes, sorry, that beat was me just starting the timer. I completely forgot to start it before I started recording. You can't get into this barn. It's a lovely building, but you can't do anything with it at all. So it's a completely useless building, and to be honest, we need to replace it. Same with that building there. We can't do anything with that one. It's purely decorative. And that one. The farmhouse down here we can use. Shed up there obviously we can use. That building over there, again, it's purely decorative. We can't use it. This one, I can't remember if it does open up or not. No, doesn't open up at all. And see, inside it, you get hints of what's in there, but you can't do anything with it. So, all of those decorative buildings that you can't do anything with, you want to get rid of. You've also got a lot of dead land lying around the farm, which includes this rubbish area here, the general junk dump, which could do with tidying up, cleaning up, to be able to make a go of the place. You've got various equipment dotted around, so first of all, let's collect our equipment and put it in the sheds so that we know where it's all at. Now, the combine is parked here to tell you that this field is ready to harvest, and I guess that's one of the first tasks that we should do. So we'll leave the combine there for now, But we'll move these tractors. This one's parked here to tell you that this field needs ploughing, and all of its attachments have been disconnected. The weight on the front and the plough. Is that a plough or a cultivator? That's a cultivator. Cultivator on the back, and up here you've got another tractor with a weight on that goes on the front and a seeder that goes on the back, letting you know that this field is ready for seeding. And down here next to the grain silo you've got another tractor with a trailer on it, and that looks to be the majority of the equipment. I don't think there's any others lying around. Probably not. This is our water supply for the fields and the farm. Right, let's just verify what we do and we don't have by looking in our inventory. So if we press P as if we were going to purchase something, up comes the PDA, and we can see the catalogue from the shop. We've got vehicles, we've got tools and trailers, we've got pallets of supplies, placeables, which are our buildings and sheds and everything else. Then we can do some landscaping. These are the brands if you have a preferred brand. So for example, I'm a big fan of the Case equipment up here, Case International Harvesters. I much personally, and it's purely a personal thing, I much prefer them over the more popular John Deere. Maybe it's because I'm British and I'm a fan of the underdogs. But if we click down here on Garage, it shows you everything that we've got. So we've got this Fiat 1300 DT, which is a small tractor. We've got a pair of Case 7210 Pros, which are upgradable. These are the base model for these tractors, and we can upgrade them, and I'll show you how to do that. We've got a New Holland TX32 combine harvester. Got a small grain trailer. We've got a header for the combine harvester. We've got our cultivator that we were looking at. I asked if it was a plough. It is a cultivator. It's only a small one, 3 meters wide. We've got our Amazon 3 meter seeder and a pair of weights for the fronts of the tractors. We've got our grain silo, our tractor shed, and then these buildings that we can't do anything with, which as you can see are worth quite a bit of money. And what we really want to do is we want to sell them and get rid of them. The only one that we can actually use is the farmhouse. So what I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to sell these buildings, get rid of them. Keep the grain silo, we can use that. Keep the shed, we can use that. Get rid of the farm storage. We can't actually store anything in it. Get rid of the old barn. We can't use it. Can't get into it. That farm shed. And that farm garage. And this little farm shack. Right, so that leaves us with 3 buildings: the farmhouse, the tractor shed, and the grain silo. The other building that we've still got, even though it's not showing in here as a building, is that that water point that I showed you, and a decorative windmill. So let's just go back and see what the farm looks like now. We've got rid of all of that. Yeah, so we've got the silo, we've got the flagpole, got the tractor shed, we've got the farmhouse, we've got the water point, and we've still got all of this here that we really want to get rid of. And you can't get rid of it in the vanilla game without editing the map, which means that you've got to learn how to use the Giant's map editor, which is not an easy task and is way outside the scope of this series. So this is where we need to get our first mod, because we want to get rid of this stuff. Now, our first mods are going to be all about gameplay, and in order to do that I need to leave the game. But before we leave the game, let's just save what we've done. So again, press escape, come in here, and at the top of the screen you've got these icons. If you go to the tractor icon, and let's put a name for the save, YouTube, all fingers and thumbs today, YouTube Season 0. Okay, so let's just save the game there, then quit the game. I've already got the mods installed, so what we're going to do is we're going to reload the game. Normally you would go into mods and select your mods, but that's a topic for another video. So as you can see, this is our save game, and it has not saved that game name, my save game. Now this is a bug, and it's a known bug. As you can see, I can put custom names into that name slot. But let's just reload the Ravenport. Then it shows me all the mods that I've got installed on my computer. And as you can see, I don't have any of them selected. So the one that we're looking for is a one that's called hide map objects, or map objects hider. I can never remember which way it's named. There we are, map objects hider. So we want that one. That's the first mod that we want, and then we start the game. Now you can add all of those mods in one go and start the game. You don't have to add them one by one and restart, but you can add them all and restart with a whole bunch of them at once. It just means that the first time it starts up, it takes a little bit longer. So there we go, start. And now we start at the farmhouse every time, on the steps of the farmhouse or just below them. So first thing we want to do is go back into here. Want to rename that again. I'm going to call that again YouTube Series 0, and save the game. Just do it again, spacebar, save it twice. That should now embed the name for the game. And let's go and get rid of that junk heap, and then we'll look at getting some farming done. So we want rid of all of this. We've taken over this. Let's create a little story. We've taken over this farm and we're cleaning it up, and we want to make it viable and profitable, and I'll probably want to put some sort of animal pen here. So we need to get rid of all of this. So we just come over to here, and you can see top left in the menu, H, hide the trash. So H, yep, get rid of that. Get rid of the car wreck. Yep, and over here, get rid of the old metal pile. Yep, pallets. That trash pile. Looks like that pallet's not a valid object for removing using this method. Okay, so get rid of that trash pile, and this is going to take a little while to clear all of this. There's so much rubbish here, so I'll probably do a quick fast forward on it to get rid of it. Okay, now this, I don't know if I want to get rid of this or not. I don't know if that functions as a water source, and if it does, I don't know if it's going to interfere with putting an animal pen here, or an animal stable, or whatever. Interesting. No, I'm not getting that. Hide the well symbol. Show hidden objects list. Oh, I think I'm going to get rid of it, to be honest with you. That shows as the well simple basin. That shows as well simple tube. I don't see any place to turn the water on. Now, this is our water supply here. I don't see any valves here to turn on to activate that simple basin. So, I'm going to just get rid of it. We want to clean this area out. We don't want any conflicts when we're doing bits and pieces. Right, now the next thing to do is get rid of these railings. We don't want them. Again, there's a lot of these, so I may just time-lapse this to clear it. So let's start with the one at the wooden fence. And it does let me get rid of it. Okay, so that looks to be everything removed that we can remove. The only thing we've got left over here are these 4 pallets, which I can't, 5 pallets, which I can't delete. So I'm going to have to get a front loader attachment on one of the tractors with a forklift header, and come across and pick these pallets up using that, which is fine because we can actually use the pallets for other purposes a little bit later. But for now, I'm not really worried about them. Right, the fence at the back also I'm not worried about. Oh, hang on, we've got these 2. Unless they're popping back in for some reason. Oh, I'd got rid of everything. There we are. Let's just keep walking through these bushes. We're going to have to mow these bushes down at some point as well. Now, after selling all those buildings, you notice our money at the top right of screen has increased to 230,000. If I was doing a role play game, I would have sold all that trash to the scrap man and added a little bit more money, maybe an extra 5,000 or so for all of that metal. And that would have been a little boost to our startup funds. Now what you can see here, and you'll see it a lot better when I jump in a vehicle, is we've now got this large area here where we could put another small field like that one up there. That tree up there I may well cut out and give us the ability to extend that field down in this area, because such buildings as we need over and above what we've already got, we can fit down here with a slightly more cramped farmyard than the large amounts of wasted acreage that we already had. So let's get some farming done. First things first, let's get this field harvested. Let's jump in the combine. Our fuel is full. The combine is fully serviced. We need to connect the header as it's showing at the bottom center of screen. Press Q to attach it. And we're showing at the bottom right of screen that we've got 0% crop in. So that's great. We can fully harvest this field. It's not a very big one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the outside of it first and then backwards and forwards and collect it. So first things first, using the menu on the left, press V for Victor to lower the header, unfold the harvester. Yeah, and then it should just be a case of go. Put B to turn on the harvester. There we go. Right, let's go. Usual movement commands, WASD, both on foot and in a vehicle. And there we are. That took a few minutes. Fields completely harvested. The combine is at 84% of capacity with 4,700 litres of grain in it. That was a wheat harvest. Now I've left the straw in swaths on the field because we're going to want to collect those, and we can, fortunately, we can just empty this straight into the silo by piping out onto the overloading pit like that. You can see that started automatically once the pipe was out, and that'll just load everything into the silo, and we'll check the silo's capacity in a moment once we've put the combine away. Takes a moment for it to unload. Go. Tap O on the keyboard and it brings the pipe back in. And just do a controlled reverse turn into the shed to put the combine away. Wrong way. Straighten the wheels up. It's about as far back as it can go. It's actually poking out of the shed on the other side, which is not what we want. Hold the combine away and lower the header. That. Then we can turn it off and exit. And that's the combine done for a while. We won't be using it for a wee while. It's quite a small combine, and we will want to replace it with a bigger one that has a wider header so that we can harvest the fields quicker. But it will do for now until we get the farm established. So we want to know what we've got in the silo. So let's again press escape, wait for it to auto save the game, and then we come up here to the graph symbol at the top row. Click on that and we can see that our silo allows us to store 200,000 litres of each of the grain and pulse crops. So that's wheat, barley, oat, canola, sunflower, soybeans and corn. Don't believe it lets us put anything else in there except those. Doesn't. Okay, so fortunately, having all 7 of those visible at once, we can see the best prices for them down here, and you can see that we've started the game with some crop in the silo already. So after adding that wheat, which was about 4,700 we said, we now have 16,500 litres of wheat, just under 15,000 litres of barley, 13,500 of oat, 15,500 of canola, just over 8,000 of sunflower, 14,000 of soybean, and 8,000 of corn. Now when we look at the prices, we can see that soybean is fetching the best prices. They will vary month to month as we go through the year. Canola is the second best price currently, but only at one location, whereas sunflower is a better price than canola at 2 of the locations, but much worse than the best price for canola at the other 2. So you've got to look at the locations and check all 4 prices for a product before you sell it. And I'm thinking we probably want to get that soybean sold, which is down at the port grain elevator. We've got 14,000 to sell, and the problem with that is that if we just jump in this tractor here and look at the trailer, I think that would mean 2 trips in this trailer. Let's back it up. Oh, of course, it only gives us a percentage until we've got crop in. So if we go to P as if we were going to purchase, go to garage, have a look at that trailer, and yes, we've got the 8,000 litre version of it. We can extend that to 12,000 if we take it down to the garage. You can see it will carry just about all of the different crops, including things like manure and straw and all of that stuff, wood chips and so on, including fertilizers and limes and pig foods, all of the pretty much everything that we'd use on the farm. So it's a good trailer in that respect. It does everything that we want, and it shouldn't be too expensive to upgrade it to the 12,000 litre version. Maybe cost us about, I don't know, £1,000–1,500 possibly. Right, so that's the pressure off us. We've got that crop harvested. We've got to seed that field up there. We've got to cultivate and seed that field up there. We've got to collect that straw, then cultivate and seed this field down here. We've also got a field at the back up there. So let me just drop this trailer off a moment. Let's just go and have a look at this land up here behind the farmhouse, on the other side of the shed. And God, this tractor is slow, 15 miles an hour. Good grief. It's not going off the farm, this one. Yeah, so we've got a field there ready to seed, and we've got land up here where we could put fruit trees. We'd have to get rid of the existing trees, which means we'd need some sort of trailer to collect the wood for taking it down to the sawmill. And we'd need that anyway for that single tree that's up there next to the top left field, because we need to take that out so that we can extend that field. So let's just assess where we are right now. We started the farm, and we then immediately sold the buildings, which gained us an additional 130,000, leaving us on £230,000 available, or dollars or euros, whatever you're using. We've harvested that crop and put it in the silo. Generally speaking, as an average, we've got about 14,000 litres of each of the 7 grain crops in that silo, so we can probably get, I would say towards another 100,000 by selling all of our crop. And we need a few bits and pieces. We're going to need a baler for that straw, which we can either rent or buy, it depends on the prices. We're going to need some way of spreading fertilizers and weed killers, and I would say we're going to need a plough as well. We only have a cultivator at the moment, and it's only a small one, a 3-meter one, which is going to take forever doing these fields once we get them extended. We're also going to need another shed. We're going to need another storage for things like the straw and fertilizer and all that type of stuff. So we also need an animal pen. If you remember, I said we want to put an animal pen over there where we cleared out that rubbish. And we need a front loader on one of the tractors and a fork attachment for clearing those pallets. So quite a few things to get, and we'll probably get those in the next episode. We'll go on a shopping trip, and then we'll get these 3 fields sorted out, get the trees that cut down that we need cut down, and get the fields extended. So join me for that on the Ravenport Map at, I believe this farm is called Ravenport Farm. Let's just check, see what it says. It's an unnamed farm. There you go, right. And from the look of it, we're not too far away. I believe we can sell. Oh, that's the biomass. So where is the forestry? Let's have a quick look, because we need to figure out how far we've got to travel to sell our wood. There's the sawmill all the way down there. Okay, so we've got quite a trip to get to the sawmill, so we want a decent sized trailer next time round. We're moving all of the trees that we're going to cut down, and we need to minimize the number of journeys that we make in doing so. Right, I'll see you then. This is Gazbeard on the Ravenport farm with an introduction to Farm Sim. Hope you're going to enjoy this. Give it a like give it a thumbs up if you like it and you want to see more of it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comments down below. We've started with 0 mods. The only one that we've added is the hide map objects so far. We may add more mods before we get to the end of it. It's going to be a short series, 9 or 10 episodes I would guess, just as an introduction to Farm Sim, and then we'll move on to another map and another farm, and we'll get into some more role playing in the series. But I want this series to introduce you to the game and its mechanics and how things are done, so that you understand what I'm doing in later series. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.